Complete voiceover, journalist style, and 520 seconds, August 2025. Former US President Donald Trump once again took to the stage, delivering a speech that mixed humor, sharp attacks, and bold claims about crime, politics, and America's future. His words, often laced with mockery and exaggeration, painted a picture of a leader who sees himself as the only true defender of law and order. He began with a touch of ridicule, poking fun at cultural debates and gender in sports before turning sharply toward his central theme, crime. But you can't have a 7-foot guy playing basketball with the women, Trump joked, adding, "This is crime." Trump is saying he's against crime and therefore crime. For his supporters, it was both comic relief and a serious framing of his argument that he alone stands against lawlessness, while his opponents, he claimed, embrace it. Trump then moved swiftly to his political rivals, singling out Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. With biting words, he mocked Schumer's appearance, saying he looked as though he had aged 100 years. He dismissed Pritzker as, in his words, a slob of a governor whose own family had forced him out of their business. For Trump, these insults were not simply personal jabs. They were woven into his broader argument that Democratic leadership had failed American cities, leaving them overwhelmed by crime. Chicago and Washington, D.C., he insisted, were the worst examples. According to Trump, stories about crime levels being under control were lies. Crime in D.C. was the worst ever in history, he declared, before boasting that his team had already arrested over 1,000 criminals in just 13 days. His message was clear. Only federal intervention under his command could restore order. To underscore his point, Trump recalled an encounter with Maryland Governor Wes Moore. He said the governor praised him in private, calling him the greatest president and telling him he was doing an unbelievable job. But Trump claimed the same governor later went on television to call him a dictator. Trump seized on the contradiction, telling his audience, "If the line is that I'm a dictator but I stop crime, a lot of people say they'd rather have a dictator. But I'm not a dictator, I just know how to stop crime." For Trump, this was proof of what he called hypocrisy among his critics, praising him in private, condemning him in public. From there, he broadened his argument, casting blame on state leaders for failing to control their cities. New York, Illinois, California, each, he argued, was a case study in chaos. And each, he insisted, would have been far worse without his direct involvement. He pointed to California as the example, claiming that the Olympics could never have taken place without his decision to send in the National Guard. "They did a fantastic job," Trump said. "We have the Olympics, we have the World Cup coming. I got them in my first term." These events became part of Trump's broader legacy pitch. The World Cup, the Olympics, and America's upcoming 250th anniversary. In his telling, they were not just milestones, but testaments to his leadership. "We have the World Cup coming, which is like having 45 Super Bowls," he boasted. He promised his supporters that under his watch, these events would be safer, larger, and more impressive than ever. Trump also highlighted how close he had come to being left out of the celebrations altogether. "I was really sad," he admitted, "because I said, 'Oh boy, I got them, and I won't be president.'" But with his political return, he now claimed that the United States would host these events under his leadership, not someone else's. He went so far as to say America's 250th anniversary would be, in his words, a better celebration under Trump than under anyone else. As the speech drew to a close, Trump shifted to themes of strength and sovereignty. He praised the Supreme Court, lauding decisions that, he said, allowed the US military and businesses to hire the best people for the job, rather than being bound by what he dismissed as woke reasons that were killing our country. He declared the US military strong, respected, and ready to protect America's future.